What is going on, guys and girls? It's GhostRobo, and we are here with Spartan Ops in Halo 4. This is the co-op mode, kind of like Spec Ops from Call of Duty, kind of like a horror mode, kind of like a wave mode. We've got the giant floating ball of doom in the center. We're looking to get to this objective and defend the area. Now, I am joined by a lovely co-op partner, IFreeMz, who is a good friend on YouTube. How are you doing, bud?
I'm fine, thank you, Zach. How are you?
I am doing pretty darn good. Now, I know that we have been wanting to do something together for a long time, so this is a very awesome opportunity to play this cool mode together. I have not played Spartan Ops. Have you played Spartan Ops yet?
No, not at all. I've been dying to, though, but I've held back. I have held back.
Held back and waited for me. How sweet of you. I appreciate it. All right, we've got some Prometheans jumping in. And while we're first taking these guys on, why don't you just quickly just introduce yourself a little, tell people about your channel. I've known you for, gosh, a long time since you first started. And you've built up quite a bit with some cool walkthroughs and Let's Plays. You started off doing a lot of shooter stuff, right?
Yeah, I've mainly stuck to shooters, but I cover pretty much all the major releases. Pretty much the same stuff that you do. And yeah, we've been friends for quite a while. Been dying to do some stuff together, haven't we? But I appreciate you saying my channel's done pretty well, though. That is really nice of you. No,
yeah, you do a good job. Very, very cool, very consistent, and sometimes you even put it out faster than I do, which is impressive. Because I try to be pretty quick with games, but a lot of times you beat me, which I think is a pretty cool achievement. We are downloading data here, and I will put a link to IFreeMz's channel in the annotation and the description. If you guys want to check him out, I suggest that you do so. I'm sure he'd appreciate it, and I would appreciate it as well. Go show some GhostRobo Army love over in the comment section on his videos. And right now we are going to fight off against. I call these guys data dogs. Do you know a name for them? Have you heard what they're actually called?
I'm not going to say what I call them because it's kind of obscene. But
all right, well then we'll keep things friendly here. For oh my gosh,
oh, I'm riding this one.
I didn't know you could do that.
Me neither, actually. That's the first time I've done that.
Didn't even know that was possible. All right, so this mode is a little strange. It's the one that they're releasing pretty frequently. They're planning on putting out new chapters and episodes. I think for a couple of months, good while after the release of the game. I thought it would be more mission based. I'm not sure what you thought, but it seems like it's more defend and kill as opposed to like challenges. I thought it'd be more challenges. It is a little bit story driven with some cutscenes, and they do have voiceover and stuff, so it's not solely just a shoot and kill. But is that the sense you're getting? We've played a couple of these, and it seems like it's more like a test of your ability to hold out, kind of in some ways like firefight-ish a little bit, but without sort of, the arena aspect.
Kill everything and then get to the extraction point, I think. A few of my friends have been playing it, and they're really trying to persuade me to come and play, and I'm like, no, I have to wait for the GhostRobo dual comm I'm planning on doing.
Absolutely.
So I've held back quite a lot, as I said.
Yeah, now, are you a huge Halo fan? Have you played all the games, or are you? I mean, I'm assuming you play all the games, but would you consider yourself like a huge fan, or just a Halo?
I love Halo.
You do?
Really
okay.
I've played it since the very first one. Back before I was even on Xbox Live, me and my friends used to do the whole split screen malarkey.
Really? Okay, so I would love to get your on both. Start wherever you want. Multiplayer, campaign. Like, how do you think this one from 343 stacks up? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you overjoyed? What's your gut take after a couple of days of play? I
am happy with it, but really, you have to consider that 343 are trying to do what Bungie didn't do, obviously without completely changing the game and ruining it for all the huge fans that Halo already has. I mean, with a franchise like Halo, it's going to be hard to match what Bungie did, but like I said, they're trying to do something a little different and do stuff that Bungie never did.
Right, and for me, I mentioned this in my walkthrough, I feel like it's kind of a resounding success. I mean, just the new enemies alone like add such a new feel and flair, and maybe it's more pronounced because there has been such similarity with the Covenant for so long, but it leaves me very surprised that Bungie, who is a fantastic developer, and it's not like the only thing they've ever done is Halo, that they didn't try more things out sooner. Do you get that sense?
Definitely. I mean, it's nice to see a change with the enemies. I was a little disappointed at first, because at first you are just fighting the Covenant when you first start out, but you get a little bit into it and you see these new enemies coming in, and it is really refreshing and really nice to see the change. But I am impressed. How about you? I know you're asking me my views, but I'm not sure how you feel about it. Are you impressed?
I really like it. I'm somebody who is a Halo fan, but I don't dare say I'm like a hardcore you know, aficionado, so I don't have the most authoritarian view on it, but I really do like it. I think it's kind of awesome that Microsoft clearly put a lot of their weight behind the game to make it probably the most visually impressive thing on the 360, sort of as a send-off for the system before we get new consoles next year. But I really like 3 things from the game. One, I like the visual style. I think it has almost a ceramic look to it. I know that might sound completely crazy, but there's a very, like, just a sheen to the graphics that I absolutely adore in both the natural and the sort of artificial environments. So that's 1. 2 is I think the sound is incredible. I think the game sounds just so much better than it did before, and I know that's something that a lot of people were kind of excited for. And 3, it reminds me how fun sort of non-linear combat can be in a shooter. It's a really nice thing to play Halo after even playing a game like Borderlands, which I will say does have open environments, but is very linear in the sense that you're basically, you know, guys are running at you in a very, you know, vertical line, and you're following them in a very vertical line, and it's, you know, duck, cover, pop, shoot, reload. Nothing really matches up to the kind of strafing and all over the place gameplay I think that Halo delivers in its single player.
Exactly. The scenery definitely does look not completely different, but, you know, slightly different, and it is nice to see how they've changed it. But, you know, it's hard to match what Bungie did, but I still think they've done a fantastic job. I'm really happy.
I think it's awesome, and I think it'll be really interesting to see how Halo compares to Call of Duty this year. You know, I think the general buzz is, oh god, Black Ops 2 is going to be amazing, which it probably very well be, but I'm interested to see just on 360, you know, what is the spread between Call of Duty this month and Halo on Xbox Live. You know, do people really fall in love with this new title? Is there a inherent bias because it's not Bungie? How does it all pan out? I think that's something that's going to be pretty interesting to see in a couple weeks.
What do you think is going to happen? I mean, you know, do you think it was a smart move by Activision to release Black Ops maybe a week after Halo, or do you think that was sort of, you know, maybe a bit hasty and they should have waited a little longer?
You know, I think that for a lot of people, they're, you know, usually developers like, oh god, if we get out first, we'll have an advantage. But with this, there's no, it's not like, oh god, what is this Call of Duty thing? I'm too busy playing Halo. I think everybody's going to buy Call of Duty, and in some ways, I think that's an advantage to Activision, that, you know, people play Halo, but sort of the last word is, you know, from it's just like in the presidential debates or in anything. You want to have the last say. You want people to be, you know, sitting with your game as the most recent thing, and I think that plays a huge advantage. Of course, tons of people buy Halo at Christmas and, you know, holiday time. Unfortunately, my belief is that, I don't know if it's unfortunate, but I think Call of Duty still will win out this year.
Yeah,
but I'll be interested to see.
It definitely has a more prominent fan base, I have to say.
I think after this year, it'll be very interesting to see, because I think especially with sort of the it's sold super well, Modern Warfare 3, but I feel like the praise of it was not where they wanted it to be.
Definitely not.
And if Black Ops isn't, or even if it is a hit out of the park, you know, next year it won't be the same team. So what are they going to release? It can't be Modern Warfare 4. If it is, I think that's a huge mistake. You know, and I just really hope that Call of Duty doesn't become Guitar Hero. They've taken great care with Halo to make sure that doesn't happen. And you know, I don't know. I think I'm just intrigued. I'd love to be surprised and see. I don't really have a preference of you know, Halo versus Black Ops. It's not like I'm a huge, gigantic fan of one and a hater of the other. But I would like to see, just for the sake of game design, I would like to see Halo win out.
I definitely think that whoever's making the next Call of Duty, whether it be Infinity Ward or Activision or whoever, they are having to, you know, take it to the next level, because Call of Duty, for me especially, just feels the same every time I play it. I'm not trying to bash Call of Duty here, you know. I know a lot of people love the game, but it is very similar time and time again.
Right.
Some people love that, but for me, you know, that's kind of irritating, and I love to see different things coming out of big series like this, and it's nice to see something like this with the Halo series where it's completely different.
Now, tell me something that maybe as a more hardcore fan you recognize that I don't. Besides visuals, besides audio, besides, you know, the obvious that, okay, this is made by 343 and there's now these, you know, orange glowy dudes. What's something, you know, maybe mechanically or something as a core franchise truth that you notice to be different in this one? Like, you can say, okay, this definitely wasn't made by Bungie. Is there anything that you notice like that like really stands out to you?
I mean, scenery and stuff. It seems similar, but at the same time different. You can't really put your finger on it with this game. They like I said before, they have to change it without changing too much at the same time, because they know if they do, they're going to upset people.
Right. And what are your thoughts on multiplayer in terms of how they, as much as Call of Duty is same old, there definitely is nods to the COD system of handling multiplayer, and just how do you think that integrates with Halo this time around?
It's nice to see stuff like Ordnance and things coming into the game.
I think those are really cool.
Games like Call of Duty, you have like perks and stuff like care packages coming in, and you can really just abuse the things that will do well for you. But with this game, the way they've done it, you have the same sort of system with slight perks, and you can also get ordnance now from getting kill streaks and stuff. But it's at random, it comes out at random, so you can't really just pick the stuff that works well for you. You sort of just have to work with what's given to you in that sense. I know you can pick the regen field that I use, or you can use the hologram and stuff, and that's all well and good, but when you get your ordnance drops, it's completely random, and it's nice to see a system that isn't just based on what the player picks. It's basically what the game gives you.
Yeah, I think that's a super cool kind of take on it, because it doesn't then... It becomes much more organic and natural. Like, just play the game and you're going to get some cool stuff, and yeah, you're going to do, some more powerful things. But what I also notice is that the things they're giving you are not above and beyond what you could normally find on the battlefield, or what you could normally find, yourself. It's not like all of a sudden you pilot a Pelican, or, you're in a Scarab and you're just, stomping on, 8 foes at once, or you have a, gigantic, Hyperion missile that you're firing down and blowing up half the level. It's very... Yeah, it's very calm, would be, calm and very considered,
sort of fair.
And fair. And so you get a little extra oomph for your effort, but it's not something like, okay, now I'm going to go and just tear up the competition, which is a subtle take on kill streaks. I just feel it's one that's very successful, because it gives you the feeling like, dang, I did a good job, thanks for the reward, high five, but not one that's like, oh my god, here I am in my freaking chopper
destroying
down
everybody,
right? And I think it's a really smart take, and it'll be cool for me as someone who is gonna play a lot of Halo 4 and a lot of Black Ops 2 this year to see that direct comparison. Last year I kind of sat out the multiplayer scene, and this year I plan on being back full force. So how does it compare? Is it cool to get that new 10-point system? They're trying to mix things up a little bit, but again, in some ways it's like they're just going to skew more towards what people hate, which is the whole focusing on just kill streaks and focusing on a very way of gaming gaming system.
Yeah, and also with the way they've done it here on Halo on a negative sort of side, you don't really have to get a kill streak. It's just keep getting points and kills, and you will get sort of a reward for it. You don't have to prevent yourself from dying, or maybe just camp in a corner for 2 weeks to get what you want.
Well, it's sort of symmetrical to the like support, whatever they call those, the support class. What's it called? In Call of Duty, in Modern Warfare 3, how there was support, assault, the different packages of whatever, the strike packages or whatever the heck they're called. Where you could just get points or assists or things. You didn't necessarily need to get 7 in a row in order to unlock a cool bonus. But I think the game is super awesome. I'm super glad. And even though this mode isn't what I expected it to be, I think it's a real fun way to kind of extend multiplayer beyond the campaign. People typically do the legendary runs, but this one is mighty short. Do you feel it's shorter than most? Yeah,
this hasn't lasted too long. How long have we been going for? Probably, I think, about 15 minutes or so, something like that.
Yeah, this one seems to be pretty short. Normally these are about 20-minute chapters, and then that kind of seems to be a theme because the campaign is pretty darn short as well. But it's definitely packed in with goodness. Now, I like to ask everybody I meet who is big in games this question, which is, what so far is your game of the year 2012? You've played basically everything save for Hitman, Far Cry, and Black Ops 2. So with those three, being out there as unknowns so far, what is your standout title?
I have to say it's this. It's definitely Halo. I know that sounds kind of cliche because some people may think I'm just saying it because it's come out, but nothing has really excited me more or stood out as much as this. I like Borderlands 2. Assassin's Creed was also really, really good, but I think this is the game that's going to keep me coming back for more, whereas nothing else, really is. So I don't. What about you? What's your take on your favorite game this year?
Jeez, gosh, put me on the spot here. I was supposed to ask you, and then we're going to get out of here, but I feel bad for saying it, but my favorite 2 games of the year are 2 small titles, Walking Dead and FTL. They're 2 games that just... I like to gauge things based on how excited am I to keep playing and how like desperate am I to see the next bit. And that's kind of how I am with both these games. But Halo 4 has a chance to be up there, and I'll probably categorize things out like I like to do and give sort of a big game of the year and then an indie game of the year. And I'd say of big games, I'd say Halo 4 is up there. And Assassin's Creed 3 is kind of making a good run for its money as well. Borderlands is super fun, but I don't think I can give that Game of the Year material. But I can give Game of the Year material your voice. I love to have your voice in here with me because it's such a nice, soothing. It just makes me want to cuddle up and have a good time. So thank you so much for joining us, FreeMz. I super appreciate it. Definitely check out his channel. Link in the description and up above in the annotations. If you guys like Spartan Ops, we could definitely play some more. Hit that like button, add your favorites, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts. Thank you once again for joining us. Any last words, bud?
I'd just like to say thank you for having me, and this definitely shows something about your character for helping somebody out who is significantly smaller than you. So thanks a lot for having me, and yeah, I hope everybody has a good day and all that good stuff. And thank you all.
Absolutely, I do appreciate it. It's been a pleasure to have you, and I'll be sending you some virtual hot chocolate for your awesome play in this video. Thanks a lot for watching, guys and girls. Have a fantastic day. You drink some hot chocolate yourselves, and until next time, we will see you all later.